up, nerds and nerdettes, and we little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Alright, we're here for another Tabletop Takeout Tuesday, my friend. I like doing these shout-outs, telling you about why I love certain games, but every now and then, twice so far, this is the third, I like to, I've started enjoying doing a close-up, you should say, could say, would say, as long as you say it. But I do like these sort of close-ups on the Marvel villains for the Marvel Champions, the card game. And with Rhino and Claw under my belt, having so much fun doing them and getting some decent traction for it, I am here and ready to deliver to you what I think and maybe some tips on how you can survive an encounter with Ultron. Alright, Avenger and Marvel fans, I'll see you down at the table. So here we are to discuss the most powerful destructive AI that has ever faced the Avengers. Ultron. Pick your number. Mach 5, Mach 12, I don't care. Just, it's all Ultron. And this is the most dangerous foe in the core box, with the three foes being Rhino, Claw, and Ultron. And there is definitely a build-up of progression between these villains that we see. In a sense, it is a great learning tool. Once you are comfortable with Rhino, whether you win or lose, as long as you're comfortable with the rules and how to put a strategy together, you can move on and experience Claw and see things are a little bit longer. He has two schemes, right? Not the one. With multiple schemes, Claw is a little bit longer of an adversary, and that in itself makes him a little deadlier because things are going to keep hitting you. Now we get on to Ultron. And let me just say this, that the proverbial poop hits the fan. To start with, Ultron's base card itself, whether you're playing the 1-2 version or the Expert 2-3 version, or you're some sick psychopath that has his own homebrew 3-3 version. The progression of Ultron itself is powerful. Although he only starts off with a 1 scheme and I believe it's a 2. Yeah, 2 attack on his lowest level. His attack itself has a forced response, which is a small part of the nickel and diming you to death that Ultron is a master of. Because the forced response is going to make you either add a threat to the main scheme, you the player, or you're going to have to take the top card from your deck. You're losing this card. You don't know what it is because you keep it face down, and face down you put that in front of you because that is a drone. That is an Ultron drone engaged with you. So if you don't allow the scheme to progress, you are slowly going to get swarmed by these drones. Now, when it progresses to Ultron 2, he has a 2 scheme, and he still has the 2 attack, and he still has the forced interrupts. However, this time, the forced interrupt will also add a +1 attack for Ultron for every drone that's in play. Now that's every drone that is in play with you. the player, the active player at the time. It doesn't matter if it's an upside down card representing a drone or whether it's a drone minion card. We'll get to the minions later. That's another whole heap of trouble. But whatever the drone is, he's getting a +1 on his attack against you. Now, if you're playing with the Ultron level 3 option, it does get ugly. His scheme is still 2. However, he has a straightforward attack of 4. No forced interrupt, no little asterisk next to the 4 like the level 1 and level 2 had on their attacks. Now, when this card comes out, each drone minion in play, again, as I stated before, as long as it's a drone, whether it's a minion card or whether it's a upside down, face down, one of your own cards that had to be put engaged with you as a drone, whatever it is, each minion drone is going to get a +1 to their attack and +1 to their hit points. Just because Ultron is at this level now and is sort of sending out these whatever AI signals to the drones and empowering them. Now, on top of that, Ultron himself is immune to damage when these drones are out. Definitely not good. But you see, it gets worse. Yes, it continues to get worse with Ultron level 3. Because you're going to have to go through his deck, and if it's not there, go through the discard deck. Remember to shuffle the regular deck back if there's nothing. If you don't find it in it, reshuffle the deck. But what you're looking for is a side scheme of Ultrons that is really gonna be a nightmare for you. And we'll get to the side schemes later. But when you see Ultron's Imperative, yeah, when you see that, you're not going to be happy. Actually, there's not much about this villain and his cards and his powers that are going to make you happy at all. Now, don't even think about just a flat-out fast beatdown that you might be handing to him, because he is starting off with a whopping 17 hit points per hero player. Whoa! Right away, just looking at the way his character cards, level 1, 2, and 3, are presented out, and knowing that he's going to have a ton of drones, the first thing I want to say is stuns. Stun is my first impression on this. But let's look a little deeper into his cards and see what else we can expect. Now, moving on, let's take a look at the main scheme. So the main scheme is broken down into 3 parts, each part getting worse and worse and worse for you, as you can well imagine. Now, the first part is called the Crimson Cowl, an interesting callback to original Avengers, old print comic book Avengers, the original old school days. Very cool. I like to see that. What I didn't like to see was the rest of the card. Now, during setup alone, you're going to be going through the deck and finding the Ultron Drone Environment card, and then you're going to put that in play. That's another card. I'll be talking about that in a moment, though you're going to wish I didn't. Now, when you flip the card, side B is revealed, then each player, not just the active player now, but each player is going to have to take the top card of their own deck, face down, you guessed it, in front of them as a drone. Now, one of the worst things about this, and you're going to find this happening a lot in Ultron's deck, Ultron burns your cards, okay? He is constantly doing this to you. He's constantly making your own cards in your deck drones against you. That means that until your deck is gone through and you shuffle the discard, you're not having access to any of these cards. And this isn't going to just happen once or twice during the game. I'm telling you, this is going to be an ongoing problem when facing Ultron. Losing cards. Obviously, one of the best responses to this is making sure you have a hero that has any cards or abilities that is going to allow you to go through your discard pile. That is going to be prime ability in facing Ultron. Well, that's my guess so far. I have faced him twice already. I won once. I don't think I probably played correctly. I probably made some mistakes because looking back at it, I don't know how I won. But it was a hell of a fun game anyway. Now, that's just the beginning. He has two other parts to this. And like I said before, you're not going to like them. The next part is the Assault on NORAD. Now, when this card comes into play, again, each player is going to put the top card of their deck into play face down. You guessed it. As a drone that they have to be engaged with. I told you this happens a lot. This is Ultron's specialty. Burning your deck. Burning through all your possibilities and abilities, your skills, your talents, equipment, attachments. Horrible. Horrible. But the Assault on NORAD continues to get worse. Because after the setup, when you flip the card, there's going to be a really big headache moment for all the players. The forced response is insisting. It insists upon itself here, a little too much if you ask me, that during the villain phase, during his step, and after threat, he places threat onto the main scheme, then each player is going to have to make a choice. You're either going to have to place 2 threat on the main scheme yourself, or you're going to have to take the top card of your deck, yep, face down in front of you as a drone you are engaged with. It never ends with Ultron. If you have still not put Ultron down twice, and he unfortunately gets to the third and final part of his evil machinations here, the countdown to oblivion, then automatically, as soon as the card is revealed, each player is going to have to put their top card face down in front of them as an engaged drone. Seeing a pattern here yet? And to make matters worse, at this point, threat cannot be removed from the main scheme. At that point there, 5 points per hero player, and he wins. And you cannot get rid of this threat. Ultron does not hold back, and he does not play games. Unless the game is tearing through your stuff. Obviously, I feel that defeating Ultron the second time before that third scheme, the countdown to oblivion, starts, it is really going to be key to this battle against him so far. But he has more than just the main scheme. There's 3 side schemes that are really going to rattle your teeth here on this guy. With Drone Factory, once again, each and every player is going to have to take the top card of their deck and put it face down in front of them as a drone that they are engaged in combat with. But on top of that, now this scheme is 4 points, right? But on top of all this, for every single drone minion that's in play, you're going to add 1 threat there on top of that. So obviously, yes, the more drones there are in your way, the harder it's going to be to destroy this factory. But it keeps piling up. You're going to drown in a sea of Ultron drones. Well, another thing that makes that card so bad is the acceleration icon. It does have a marker on it that tells you that the main scheme is going to be accelerated. So you're adding an extra point onto the scheming every time this guy plots. Now, with the next 2, You don't have to worry about that. However, each of the next 2 cards I'm going to mention for a side scheme is going to be bringing out an extra encounter card for the players. So instead of just getting the 1 encounter card, you're going to be getting 2. If both of these are out, you will be getting hit with 3 encounter cards each time the villain phase comes up. Each time. Ah! Now, this card, Invasive AI, is going to hit you pretty hard. But at least it's not making more drones. When this card comes into play, and it has 3 points per hero player, so it's not going to be easy to get rid of. When this card comes into play, each player is going to have to just discard to their own discard pile the top 3 cards from their deck. Ouch. I mean, even when he's not turning it against you, he's just literally tearing your deck apart on you. Well, the last one is the one that was mentioned earlier if he flips to his 3rd version, and that's Ultron's Imperative. Now, as I said, this has another encounter card, so it's going to boost the encounter card. So I just mentioned that. So that's for this card also. And when this is revealed, this is somewhere in between the 2, because the first player, the active player, is going to have to take the top 2 cards of his or her deck, personal deck, and put both of them face down in front of them as an active engagement. 2. No bueno, mi amigo. You know, these schemes, the main scheme and these side schemes, and the amount of nickel and diming you to death that they are responsible for, you've got to tackle these side schemes. You just get rid of them. You don't need extra encounter cards, and you don't need an acceleration on that main scheme. On top of everything else he's doing to you, you gotta handle these side schemes if they come up. Ultron Drone's Environment card. This is the card that gives the abilities to all the face-down drones, giving them a scheme of 1, an attack of 1, and a hit point base of 1. And it also directly points out that any of these face-down drone cards that are defeated will go back to their own owner's discard deck. Ultron has 3 nasty attachments that, trust me, you are going to want to handle and destroy as soon as possible. Actually, he's got 2. One of them he's got 2 of. 2 different things. Two different attachments. One of them is for him specifically, and that's the Program Transmitter. After this card gets attached to Ultron, it adds a forced response ability that after Ultron schemes, you get to place 1 threat on each of the side schemes as well. Just make them harder, why don't you? Now, any of the heroes can exhaust their hero and spend 2 of the mental abilities, resources, and you can discard that card, just like so. You're going to want to do that. Yeah. Now, the other 2 cards are duplicates, and they are attached to the Ultron Drone Environment card. This boosts up those face-down drones that you're all getting swarmed with. It adds a +1 to their attack and to their hit points. And the only way to get rid of this attachment is for a hero to spend 1 of each of the resources. An energy, a mental, and a physical resource. And then you can discard upgraded drones. Now, his 3 minion cards are going to give you no choice whatsoever except to take them down as fast as possible, because they each have the guard ability, so you can't even think about attacking Ultron with any one, much less all 3, of these advanced Ultron drones out in the play area. They have 4 hit points each, which means they're not going to be the easiest to put down. Thankfully, their scheme and their attack are only 1. But if, God forbid, all 3 of them get out at once and they're on the same hero, that will get ugly. But I'm sure the chances of that happening are rather slight. Oh, and by the way, there is one really annoying thing about these advanced Ultron drones. You kind of got to defeat them twice. Because after you defeat them, then you got to take a card off of your own deck to the top of your deck, face down in front of you as a drone. I said it before. It never ends. Now, to close this out with his treachery cards, because you have to be very careful with these. They are going to be nipping you in the bud, and you're not going to be happy about that. Now, with Android efficiency, it is going to, once again, cause each and every player to draw the top card off of their deck, put it face down in front of them, engaged as an Ultron drone again. I'm telling you, it's like almost every other card. It doesn't end! Woo. Now, thankfully, he only has 2 of the repair sequence cards, because when that comes out in play, Ultron's going to heal 2 hit points. Oh, that's 2 hit points for every drone in the play area. Yeah. Drones are bad. Drones are very bad. He has 2 treachery cards that are swarm attack. Would you like to gather a guess at what these cards will do to you? Yeah, right up front, you said that. You got that right away. Every single drone in play, whether it's a face down or whatever, they're all going to attack the players. And don't feel lucky if you don't have one in front of you, because you're going to be a lucky winner to get to draw the top card off of your deck and put it face down in front of you as a drone. Now, the last 2 treachery cards he has are Rage of Ultron. These are going to affect the hero depending on whether the hero is in their alter ego form or their, well, heroic form. Right? So, if in the alter ego form, then Ultron will scheme. Now, for every point that he schemes, the player is going to have to discard the top card of their deck. No, by the way, you don't put them in play face down as a drone against you. Can you believe that? You don't. You thought I was going to say that, didn't you? But it's still bad enough. Now, if you're in your hero form, then it's just the opposite that you would expect. This time, you're going to have to discard a card off of the top of your deck for each point of damage that you end up taking from Ultron's attack. So the treachery cards are going to be doing a lot of the same. If you've noticed, whether it's a treachery card or a minion card, environment card, it's all dealing with turning your heroes' decks kind of against you. They'll definitely against you, because you have to take a card that you're not going to be able to get to use until you have a chance to shuffle your discard pile deck. That card is going to be nickel and diming you until you take care of it, and you're not able to use it. This is horrible. My opinion on Ultron is, as I said earlier, it hasn't changed. I think stunning Ultron is a really big part of this. Keeping him stunned is so that he is not attacking you. You want him confused so he's not scheming, especially when he schemes on everything. Ugh. the level of maintenance that you need on Ultron is nothing like you've experienced with Claw or Rhino. This game is all about management of your own deck, controlling your deck. You need cards in there that let you manipulate your discard pile. You need cards in there that are going to get you to be able to discard his deck as well as he's doing to you. You need to burn through his deck as much as he's trying, and hopefully that's all he's doing, trying to destroy yours. These drones are going to keep coming. They're not going to stop. My guess is maybe every third card, if not every other card, is definitely going to be bringing some sort of drones out. You have to control them. You need abilities and powers that are going to let you do more than one damage. Especially since most of the drones are you're only looking at 1 or 2 health for most of them, if they're not boosted. So using abilities that will just burn through multiple villains is what you're going to need in your deck in order to handle all these drones. And on top of that, you need to divide out who in the group is going to be dishing the damage out to minions and Ultron, as opposed to who is going to be dealing with schemes. I honestly think you need a team that is concentrating on one aspect pretty much only. I think a 3-person team would be great for Ultron. Anything less is really going to hurt you. If you can have one person concentrating on Ultron, one hero concentrating on minions, environment, Ultron cards out in play, and then a third hero to deal with the schemes, you might have a decent chance. Definitely one hero cannot do this. 2 heroes will be extremely difficult. I think 2 heroes might even be nigh to impossible, even if you're playing it on expert mode or psychopath expert mode with the double 3. You know anyone that does that? Where did I hear that? I don't remember. But you have to manage all this, or Ultron is going to tear right through you. Now, normally I seem to have a very good first round with most of the villains, and it's the second round. When I say round, I mean villain form 1 and 2. Villain form 2 and 3. I tend to do good against the first version, and then everything rapidly falls apart on me the second one. With Ultron, it's hard to even get to that level. Remember, you need to control specific things that Ultron is doing. You need to control your deck. Any heroes you have to have something in their ability to control their deck, their discard pile especially. And then, like I keep saying, just divide it out. Ultron, cards in play, schemes. One hero to take care of each, and you shouldn't have that hard of a time taking down Ultron. What's your best plan? What is a great strategy or team up of heroes that you've used against Ultron? Come on, we really want to know. Thank you very much. I'm your buddy Big John Ed G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, I am out of here.